It's the fault of the parents. I mean, like, everybody used to understand this. If you came out all fucked up by the end of your life, big part of it was probably that you were poorly socialized by the females in your family, years 1 through 10. Most people, even in the first world, are rarely around adult males outside of their own family members for any more than about 2 to 4 hours a day. People are in the first world, for the last at least 100 years, you're surrounded by women when you are a child until like you're in almost your teens. This would most likely apply as well in South and Central America. There is no thing of society teaching people this, society teaching people that. Oh, the men don't teach the boys this. You need to teach them not to rape. All these crazy ideas that come out of the left. Now we're at full crazy, where you can't blame these people for bringing their kids hundreds of miles, sometimes across whole countries. Okay, these people are literally, by almost every definition, bad people. They're people you wouldn't want as your neighbors. Who the fuck knows what they would do with their kids or not? Are these even their children? That's another thing. People are just showing up with children. Remember that was one of the main reasons why these people, why they're separating the children from the adult they arrived with, because this is not always their parent, and they have to determine that. And I just love that. Basically, if people are like, oh, Trump and this horrible policy, no. What you're doing is you're admitting you're a chump. You're either a chump or an anti-whiter or a communist. There's not really some other thing. It's not that you're a good Christian. It's not that you're a moral person. No. It's that you're a chump. You are basically like, oh, this is not about these people physically overrunning the country and then illegally voting, and that the Democratic Party cannot win without cheating, without riots, without having a bunch of masked communists show up and intimidate people from attending political rallies and intimidating people from going to the polls. You know, everybody's just pretending. And it's really very important in the civilized world that everybody pretends that there's actually real moral concern and that everybody's on the level. Everybody's playing on the same level, you know. We're all just being good people here. No. This is the end of the commie usurpation of the United States. And now these people have shown their hand. That their enemy army are Latinos. And really, people who are Latino should not go, oh my God, how could you say that about Latino? No. I'm the one who knows artists from Disco Fuentes. I know almost no one. It doesn't matter if you're still speaking Spanish. I bet you don't know what I'm talking about. You know, and so, you know, I listen to a lot of music with the cajon in it. So, it's, you know, so shut up. You know, my shit is on vinyl. My collection is on vinyl. Understand this. No, what this is that there's a whole bunch of communists. A lot of Latinos, for some reason, have this sick, demented fixation with communists. There's a lot of evil people who think Che was a good person because they're demented. They probably eat weird food or have weird dietary things. They are into political and cultural extremism in various ways, and they have fucked up their life. Probably they're probably not likable by the opposite sex, and have fucked up their life. Like they're always in some crazy situation. This is pretty much something that you see a lot with people who are into socialism, into Che Guevara and stuff. They, you know, drink a lot, lots of drug use. They kind of snap out of it when they realize they're getting old in their mid-30s, and they realize, like, oh, I guess I am going to have to actually, like, produce and have a good rep rather than a bad rep. So this invasion of the border, using children as a weapon, this is the same thing. You know, we've seen this across the Islamic world. we've seen, the "Where Are Girls" thing with Boko Haram, and the Obamas trying to use that. The feminists will use women as oh, look at these, notice when you have thousands of girls who've been systematically raped, the feminists are nowhere to be seen. When a government friendly to their ideology who pays them money, like good whores, they get money from the British government for their programs, like good prostitutes, they get their money, they keep their mouths shut about all the girls that are getting pimped out by the Moors and the Saracens and the all the Mohammedans, because they're all on the same team. It's just like Iran. Iran once had great music, and once was a swinging place. You could actually buy oil from there. You could visit there. But then the socialists and the Islamists came together, and the story is that all that we were just horrible. We were just horrible, and we were exploiting them. But it's real strange that like they still had things, like they had a thriving entertainment, internationally known entertainment. It's like real weird that when you look at their entertainers are actually, like, and you look into them, they're actually these shockingly normal people. They weren't like descended from like long lines of musicians. These were normal people, and they played modern music, and that modern music was widely enjoyed. So this applies to Cuba before Castro, because remember, Castro banned jazz. This applies to Iran. Look up, Kurush Yagme. Look up Persian funk. Persian funk exists. Like nobody from the Middle East can believe when I mention somebody. They're like, how do you know who that is? And it's like, I collect music. I collect good music. And they just can't even believe there. To them, this is music from so far long ago. They just don't, it's like the first album of the Beach Boys, to a lot of people. Imagine that. Imagine if after the first album by like the Beatles, Britain became like some horrible tyrannical state, and there was nothing, and all that music was banned. Rock and roll was banned forever. Soul music, reggae, ska was banned for a generation. So that when people look back, they're like, oh yes, I remember that album. And they don't know what to talk. What do you say? What do you say about a country that collapsed into a dictatorship, or collapsed, into socialist nightmare? Well, this is, people won't admit, well, no, most of Central and South America has had enough socialism, and they have just too many people who are not productive, that they're collapsing. They don't understand that no, at a certain point, you actually have to insist on people improving their lot. You only reward people who improve things, and people who want to live in squalor, you make sure they're in the furthest margins of La Jungla. The problem is you ideally should leave them alone. It's just that resource extraction for the purposes, but that's the other issue. These governments are fucking garbage. So a lot of these governments are fucking garbage. So these people are really, it's more about, getting cream. And really this has a lot to do with negative rights in America, and the import of contract law. There's still a lot of these countries that don't have any like really well set up system of property rights as far as real estate. So there's people who will farm on some plot of land, but there's nothing that allows them to legally own it. Like or if they do, who knows? The entire setup for knowing who owned what parcels of land and what is the measurements of this land and the whole deal. And all like, if you ever talk to a real estate agent and you talk to them about the actual trail, the paper trail on a piece of land, that like once you're in some like the East Coast of America, you will find like you practically have to have a room for like one parcel of land because of how many times it's exchanged hands and all the paper that would have gone along with it if somebody had really collected it all, if it wasn't on computer or microfiche somewhere. That's very complicated. That took a long time to develop, and especially it was something that developed in Britain. It comes almost one of these things from British culture, that the British took bits and pieces of other people's ideas as they ruled Britain, and then when they brought it here, that now we have this hybrid system in the United States. The United States is basically the nation of cultural appropriation, then cultural hybridization, and then we make a product or a service that the whole world envies and copies, such as rock and roll. Such as, the crooners like Frank Sinatra and stuff like that. Everybody's copying us when it comes to that. The crooner with a modernist orchestra, all dressed in modern outfits for a mixed crowd, men and women. This is only an assault by the Democratic Party directly, and really, and now we know. Now it's the causa justa, just cause, causa justa, and there's like about another 5 major Latino political organizations. They've proven and a lot of Central American governments, but particularly Mexico, apparently are enemy countries, and these are apparently enemies within our midst, and they're going to have to start proving their loyalty. Period. And if people are uncomfortable with that, it's like, oh yeah, you should be, because we are. The rest of us are. We're really wondering where your fucking loyalties lie. In 3 generations, are your kids going to be speaking some demented accented form of Pucho or Spanglish? Or are they going to actually appreciate the highest levels of art and culture? Because a generation ago, this wouldn't have even been a fucking question. This would not have been a fucking question. Even Diego Rivera, with his penchant for communism, even he would have understood why high Western culture is high Western culture. And then it's just going to start coming down to, I'm sorry, there's too many mestizos and there's too many norteños. These people have been here for so long that they know the difference, and a lot of these people are not terribly happy with. It's like, yeah, you all are going to have to assimilate. I'm sorry, you're going to just have to fucking do it, because you're not over there anymore. You are here. There is a line in the literal sand over this. You're going to just have to fucking accept that or leave. And that's that. And all this, oh, how you're so immoral to children. Oh, no. What are you talking about? We didn't bring children to the border. These people who obviously aren't good people did. Why would they do that? Because they're not good people. They're communists. This is what they do. They're socialists. This is what socialists do. Anything. They'll do anything. They'll put their kids in front of tanks. They'll do anything it takes. They will do anything it takes. Now at least black people are starting to figure this out. Now I'm seeing more and more black people are starting to figure out, like, yeah, they have half of all potential black lives. Half of them gone. One generation. The socialists are your allies, right? They have Spike Lee on their side. Shit. Snoop Dogg, he's on their side. He's all about that. These white commies. Who do you think bought his albums? Come on now. See, so that's what's up. That's why I'm about the Republic, because there's some people who it's like, well, under the law, speeding ticket's a speeding ticket. And what you're seeing is that you're seeing the argument from Democrats and specifically Latinos. No, these women who want to put their children in danger, they should be treated special. They want to put their children in danger. So we should treat them extra special. And especially for a lot of you single black men. That Tommy Sotomayor fans. You know what the fuck's up. Now we're supposed to reward them putting their children in danger now. We've already seen when where's my check? My baby's sick. Where's my check? And we know that. We know what's up. Tommy Sotomayor all the time talking about these women killing their own children. House burning down while they're at the club. So, women having their children taken away from them because they left them around the house at the club. People heard the children, the fire alarm goes off, children taken away. This woman's running a Patreon. Yeah, how about these people just start a fucking Patreon account? Make Mexico great again. You could have Patreon, but don't beg us, because that's what this is. It's beggary, and people shouldn't. This is the part that really have some fucking dignity. I mean, if your country's that shitty, appeal to the international community. Our country's run by criminals. We need the entire world to do something about this. There's people who want to hear this. All you got to do is have some woman and her baby show up in like the UN. Oh, my country is run by criminals. They are horrible, and there's the raping, and everybody always wants to talk about how crazy and violent Central and South America are. Why didn't anybody ever finally appeal to it? No, this is all super normal, and it's obviously that the government simply will not do anything about it. Now, if it's that, no, we really have so many crazy, stupid people that, I mean, it's just super violent. I mean, that's what it is. Which, that's a lot of evidence says that it's just the combination of just enough crazy and a whole lot of stupid. Actually is what makes a lot of their problems the way they, what they are. But then this is the other thing, is that then it's, okay, well, so why is America so different? Why is there, you have the Latino community, you have the black community, crime rate, and then, with the white community, crime rate, and it's like, okay, so then why are thousands of people storming the border? Because white people are incredibly productive and they will just hand you welfare. So you could raise your kids so that your kids will speak Pucho in a generation. Because white liberals won't hold anybody to the letter of the law. They won't hold anybody up to the standard their own parents would hold them up to. And so that's why they're like, oh, well, I mean, you've lived here all your life, but you sound like you haven't. Well, that's fine, because we never held your own parents up to a standard of a person with a full-grown adult mind who is of normal intelligence. We just presumed, you came from the land of retards, and that's why you stormed the border, throwing snack packs and throwing a fit, and I mean, so we just don't hold you to any standards. And you see, this is one of these things, like, people will be like, oh, that's horrible, but it's like, but I'm the one who's saying, motherfuckers, you got to stay in your country. I'm holding them to a standard. I know you can improve Nicaragua. I know you can. I know you can improve it. I know you can improve Panama. I know you can improve Belize. All these places can one day be shining jewels. It's just, motherfuckers got to just give up this commie shit. They got to give up the socialist shit and let the productive rise and let the unproductive fall. And fucking clean up the garbage. That's another one. Clean up the fucking garbage. I mean, that's like one of the big ones is, if when people went to your country, there wasn't garbage everywhere, that would be like totally would change a lot about the hostility and like people being like, fuck them, fuck you, fuck your kids, you're going back. People wouldn't be talking like that if there wasn't the violence and the garbage. I really mean that. Garbage all over the place. Don't try to claim like, oh, that's a horrible stereotype. Stop it. Stop it. We see photos. We Telemundo's on YouTube. Motherfuckers have cell phones. They record things. We're like, damn, there's this like sort of stuff all over the place. You know, it's like, no, not every place is like that. I know. There's enough places that people are like, yeah, I don't want my streets looking like that. These motherfuckers are coming here. They're trying to storm the border by the thousands. Rude, crazy, and they're bringing their garbage, and they're bastards. No, we're just holding these people up to the standard of normal behavior here. When you live in America, we expect you to not storm the gates. We expect you to take care of your children. I know it's fucking cray-cray. You know, cray-cray. Can you believe it? It's like America's sort of unique. Should it be? Later.